JCRC is an umbrella organization, a coordinating body for 50 or so Jewish organizations in the New York metropolitan area. And our mission is to proactively advocate and ensure the rights, the interests, and the values of the New York Jewish community.
JCRC does a lot of things that no organization does. If you call us the home of Jewish community relations, this is where it's happening.
I've been doing this for close to 4 decades, working in the security realm for the Jewish community. It started out pretty simple, that the security issues that the Jewish community was facing were basically what we called in the olden days bias incidents. We now call them hate crimes.
Jewish community after a mass murderer opened fire on a synagogue in Pittsburgh.
A gunman burst into a synagogue in California and used a semi-automatic rifle to gun down worshipers.
Breaking news emerging overnight about the mass shooting in New Jersey. The mayor of Jersey City said a Jewish market was intentionally targeted in the attack.
A man, witnesses say, stormed through the front door, unveiled a long knife, and began swinging and stabbing those celebrating the 7th night of Hanukkah.
The police here in New York are increasing their presence in neighborhoods with large Jewish populations following a series of anti-Semitic attacks. It comes as Jewish people celebrated Hanukkah and as civil rights groups are noting.
We have been for many years the Homeland Security for the Jewish community in the New York metropolitan area.
And as time went on, the security challenges to the Jewish community expanded. The UJA-Federation stepped up, formed a partnership with JCRC, and created the Community Security Initiative, which is a joint program between UJA-Federation and the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York.
It was important to create a broader infrastructure to support Jewish community around the issue of security. The obvious place to speak to and to plan with was JCRC, and we together conceived the idea for a significantly enhanced security infrastructure to support Jewish communities in New York.
The reason we decided to partner with UJA and JCRC in forming CSI was that they really own the relationships with law enforcement, with civic and ethnic and religious leaders in New York, and we felt like the best thing we could do was to work with people who have the deepest relationships to make sure that Jews in the city and beyond are as safe as they possibly can be.
Couldn't be more important to us in the NYPD, the safety of all New Yorkers. And we have the largest hate crimes task force in the country, but anytime we have an incident like we saw last year, it's deeply troubling.
There is an ongoing threat. I think anti-Semitism probably never been higher, and JCRC is an important element in helping the police protect the Jewish world. The Community Security Initiative is, I think, a great idea, and it's now being led by Mitchell Silber, somebody who I work very closely with, the top flight professional. I know he'll do a great job.
The NYPD, Nassau and Suffolk, police departments, all of the police departments in Westchester, Department of Homeland Security, FBI, we're working with all of these agencies in close partnership because we want to be that connective tissue to make sure that every institution is really lashed up well with their local police precinct or police department in their area.
It's necessary to have a resource that the community can turn to for advice, for best practices, for training, navigating government funding, for security grants, and to be able to house that resource in a single place that can be a place that any institution in need knows to call is particularly critical at this moment.
The first step is to figure out what are the vulnerabilities of this institution and how could the vulnerabilities open the door for a threat to get in. And what we've done is given the institutions the ability to upgrade their security, to harden themselves as a target. We have to be able to teach each synagogue, each community center, each school our best practices. And at the same time, not interfering with people's religious life, everyday social life, everyday cultural life.
The Community Security Initiative has helped educate and sensitize the congregation not only to the needs here at the Hampton Synagogue, but to the needs of all Jewish and religious institutions
And without JCRC, I don't think I would feel that comfortable, I don't think the rabbi would feel that comfortable, and I don't think our congregants would feel that comfortable.
When COVID-19 hit, Jewish communities all throughout the New York City area were faced with the challenge of their synagogues closing, their schools closing, JCCs shuttering, and over a period of time, CSI considered how will these organizations ultimately think about reopening.
We've tried to figure out what we could do given the lockdown, how we could continue to provide services. So we took our team, we put together a guide for reopening for synagogues, which expanded to houses of worship because what we were telling synagogues to do were good for churches and mosques and Hindu temples and anything else.
We've put together what I believe is a dream team of 5 regional security managers, each one responsible for part of the territory that we oversee, from, as I like to say, from Montauk all the way up to Mount Kisco.
When I think about JCRC and how they've helped me, I feel relieved. And by having a great network and a network creator like JCRC is huge.
Physical security is a critical ingredient to the flourishing of Jewish life in our community. If you're not safe coming into our institutions, you're not going to go into them, and the consequences for Jewish life going forward are dramatic. This initiative will allow Jewish life to continue to grow and flourish for generations to come in New York.
I would thank JCRC for just being there. Always been there for the police department. I'd like to think the department has been there for JCRC.
As great as your engagement programming is, no matter how many people you have walking through the door, that the members of your community feel safe. JCRC has a track record of doing that work better than anyone, and we're very proud to help them do it.
And we are so fortunate here in New York that we have the JCRC. I can't think of a better organization to partner with our synagogue, with UJA-Federation, and JCRC to tackle and look at the problem of security.
From the ground level to the highest levels of government, JCRC will be relentless in its pursuit of security for the New York Jewish community.